Silence is one of the most underrated yet powerful forces in life. In a world where everyone is constantly speaking, arguing, and trying to prove their point, silence stands out as a mark of strength, control, and wisdom. Most people associate power with loudness, but true power often lies in restraint. The ability to remain silent while others speak gives you an advantage that few understand. It allows you to see, hear, and know more than those who are too eager to voice their thoughts. Silence is often mistaken for weakness, but it is the opposite. The person who speaks the most is not necessarily the most intelligent or influential. In fact, excessive talking often reveals insecurity. Those who constantly feel the need to explain themselves, defend their views, or fill every moment with words are often unsure of themselves. In contrast, the person who remains silent has an aura of mystery, making others curious about them. One of the greatest advantages of silence is that it forces people to reveal themselves. When you stay quiet, you allow others to talk freely, and in doing so they expose their true intentions, thoughts, and weaknesses. This is why the most powerful people in any room are often the ones who speak the least. They let others show their cards before making a move. Silence gives you the ability to observe without interference, providing you with valuable information that can be used to your advantage. Silence is also a tool for self-control. When you are silent, you are not giving in to impulsive reactions. Many people regret words spoken in anger, frustration, or desperation. The ability to hold back and choose your words carefully is a sign of discipline. Imagine a situation where someone insults you or tries to provoke you. If you respond immediately, you are playing into their hands, giving them the reaction they wanted. But if you stay silent, you take away their power. The moment you show that their words do not affect you, you have already won. One of the greatest examples of the power of silence comes from historical leaders and warriors. The samurai, for example, practiced the art of silence and minimal speech. They believed that words should be used sparingly and only when necessary. Their silence was not passive, but filled with intention. It created a presence that was felt without needing to be spoken. The same principle applies today. The person who speaks only when necessary commands attention and respect. Another reason silence is so powerful is that it prevents unnecessary conflicts. Many arguments and misunderstandings arise simply because people feel the need to respond immediately. They speak without thinking, and once words are spoken, they cannot be taken back. Silence gives you time to process your thoughts and choose whether a response is even necessary. Most of the time you will realize that staying quiet is the best option. It saves energy, avoids drama, and keeps your mind at peace. Silence also enhances listening. Most people listen to reply rather than to understand. When you remain silent, you can truly absorb what others are saying. This allows you to understand people better, anticipate their next moves, and navigate situations more effectively. Listening is a skill that few master, yet it is one of the most valuable traits a person can have. The ability to listen more than you speak will take you further than any amount of talking ever could. In professional settings, silence can be a major advantage. Many successful business leaders and negotiators understand that the key to winning a deal is to speak less and listen more. When you stay silent, you make the other person feel the need to fill the space with words. This often leads them to reveal more than they intended, giving you the upper hand. Silence in negotiations creates tension, and that tension forces others to speak, often to their own disadvantage. In personal relationships, silence can be a powerful tool for setting boundaries. When you do not respond to negativity, people quickly learn that they cannot manipulate you emotionally. Toxic individuals thrive on reactions, but when you do not give them one, they become powerless. Silence can also be a sign of confidence in relationships. When you do not feel the need to explain yourself constantly or seek validation through words, it shows that you are secure in yourself. This naturally commands respect from others. Silence also plays a major role in self-improvement. Many people fail to grow because they are too distracted by external noise. They are always engaged in conversations, social media, and entertainment, leaving no space for reflection. True growth happens in moments of silence, when you are alone with your thoughts. It is in silence that you gain clarity about your goals, your strengths, and your weaknesses. This is why some of the greatest minds in history, from philosophers to inventors, spent long periods in solitude. Practicing silence does not mean you should never speak. It means knowing when to speak and when to stay quiet. It means valuing your words enough not to waste them on meaningless conversations. It means understanding that sometimes the best response is no response at all. This is a level of mastery that takes time to develop, but once you achieve it, you will notice how much more control you have over your life. One of the best ways to cultivate the power of silence is through mindfulness. Pay attention to how often you feel the need to speak and ask yourself if it is truly necessary. The next time someone challenges you, resist the urge to respond immediately. Take a moment to think. Observe more and speak less. You will quickly notice a shift in how people treat you. The less you speak, the more weight your words carry when you do choose to speak. Silence also improves mental peace. When you stop engaging in unnecessary conversations, debates, or drama, your mind becomes calmer. You no longer waste energy on things that do not serve you. Instead of feeling drained by constant talking, you feel powerful in your quietness. This inner stillness allows everything in life to flow more naturally. You become more in tune with yourself and, as a result, opportunities, relationships, and success begin to come to you effortlessly. In the end, silence is not about being passive. It is about being selective. It is about knowing that not everything requires your voice. That sometimes, the best way to handle a situation is to observe, listen, and let things unfold naturally. Those who understand the power of silence move differently in the world. They do not chase, they attract. They do not react, they control. And in doing so, they achieve a level of influence and peace that others can only dream of. Most people go through life desperately trying to control everything. Relationships, success, recognition, and outcomes. They push, force, and chase, believing that if they don't, nothing will happen for them. But in reality, the more you force something, the more resistance you create. Life is not meant to be controlled through sheer willpower alone. It is meant to be lived with a sense of flow. When you learn to trust the process and let things unfold naturally, everything you desire starts coming to you effortlessly. Letting life flow does not mean being passive or lazy. It does not mean you sit back and do nothing while expecting things to happen. Instead, it means you focus on what you can control, your mindset, your actions, and your responses, while letting go of what you cannot. It means understanding that some things take time, and some things are not meant for you at all. The key is to do your part, put in the effort, and then step back and allow life to work its magic. One of the biggest reasons people struggle is because they are attached to specific outcomes. They want things to happen a certain way at a certain time, and when that does not happen, they become frustrated, anxious, or even hopeless. But when you release attachment to results, you free yourself from unnecessary stress. You realize that life has its own rhythm and timing, and sometimes what you think you want is not what is best for you. Imagine trying to force a river to flow in the direction you want. No matter how hard you push against the current, the water will always follow its natural path. But if you stop resisting and instead learn to move with the current, you will find yourself traveling much farther with much less effort. This is the essence of flow, understanding that life, like a river, is constantly moving, and your job is not to fight against it, but to align yourself with it. This mindset shift applies to every area of life. Take relationships, for example. Many people ruin potential connections by forcing them. They try too hard to impress. They chase after someone who is not reciprocating, or they become obsessed with making a relationship work when it is not meant to. But the strongest relationships are the ones that develop naturally. When you stop trying to control every interaction, stop overthinking every text, and stop trying to force someone to like you, you become more attractive. People are drawn to those who are at ease with themselves, who are confident enough to let things happen. The same principle applies to success. Many people stress over how they will achieve their goals, obsessing over every detail and worrying about whether they are doing enough. While hard work and discipline are important, forcing things rarely leads to true success. The most accomplished people are those who trust their skills, take action without fear, and allow opportunities to come to them rather than constantly chasing. When you focus on becoming the best version of yourself rather than stressing over outcomes, the right doors open naturally. One of the greatest lessons in letting life flow is understanding that rejection is not a failure, it is redirection. When something does not work out, it is often because it was not meant for you or because something better is on its way. But when you resist and try to force something that is not working, you block yourself from receiving what is actually meant for you. Every closed door is guiding you toward the right one, but you have to be willing to move forward rather than trying to break down the wrong doors. Patience is another key aspect of this mindset. Many people give up too soon because they do not see immediate results. But just because something is not happening right now does not mean it will never happen. Everything has a natural timeline, and sometimes things need to align behind the scenes before they manifest in your life. Instead of trying to rush the process, focus on what you can do today. Trust that things will come together in the right way, and let time do its work. Letting life flow also means learning to trust your intuition. Sometimes, deep down, you know when something is not right for you, yet you keep forcing it. Out of fear or attachment. Maybe it is a job that drains you, a relationship that does not bring you peace, or a situation that feels off. When you force yourself to stay in something that is not aligned with you, you create resistance and stress. But when you trust your gut feelings and let go of what is not serving you, you make space for something better to come in. Another important aspect of flowing with life is detachment. When you detach from the need for things to happen in a specific way, you free yourself from disappointment and frustration. Detachment does not mean not caring. It means caring without clinging. It means knowing that you will be okay whether something happens or not. When you reach this state of mind, you become unstoppable because nothing can break you. Think about the most successful and happy people you know. Do they seem desperate, anxious, or constantly forcing things? Or do they seem calm, confident, and in control of themselves? The people who trust the process always seem to have things fall into place for them, while those who try to control everything often struggle. This is because energy attracts energy. When you are in a state of flow, things come easily. When you are in a state of resistance, everything feels like a battle. Practicing mindfulness can help you develop this mindset. Start by paying attention to when you feel yourself forcing things. Are you stressing over a situation you cannot control? Are you trying to make something happen that does not feel natural? When you notice these moments, take a step back, breathe, and remind yourself to trust the process. Let go of the need to force and allow things to happen as they are meant to. A simple yet powerful practice is to repeat the phrase, "What is meant for me will come to me." Say this whenever you feel anxious or impatient. It reinforces the idea that you do not have to chase. What is truly meant for you will always find its way to you. At the end of the day, life is not about constantly pushing and struggling. It is about learning to move with the flow rather than against it. It is about knowing when to take action and when to let go. It is about trusting that things are happening in the right way, even if you cannot see the full picture yet. When you stop forcing and start allowing, life becomes easier. The right people, opportunities, and experiences start appearing effortlessly. You no longer waste energy on things that are not meant for you. Instead of chasing, you attract. Instead of struggling, you thrive. And that is when you truly realize that everything you need will come to you naturally. In life, most people react too quickly. They let their emotions control them, responding impulsively to situations without fully understanding them. But the more you observe and the less you react, the more control you have, not only over yourself but over every interaction and outcome. The ability to stay silent and simply watch, rather than immediately respond, is a skill that can make you more powerful, more respected, and more at peace. Observing more and reacting less is about mastering emotional intelligence. When something happens, whether it's an insult, a challenge, or an unexpected event, most people's first instinct is to react immediately. This is often driven by ego, fear, or insecurity. But what if you trained yourself to pause instead? What if, instead of responding immediately, you simply observed the situation, gathered more information, and then made a calculated decision? That small pause can make the difference between a smart move and a mistake you regret. One of the biggest advantages of observing rather than reacting is that it allows you to understand people on a deeper level. Most people reveal everything about themselves through their words, actions, and behavior patterns. But if you're too busy reacting, you miss the opportunity to see who they truly are. The more you stay quiet and pay attention, the more people will expose themselves without even realizing it. For example, if someone is trying to manipulate you, they will eventually reveal their tactics if you remain calm and don't engage emotionally. If someone is lying to you, their body language, inconsistencies, or excessive explanations will give them away. When you react emotionally, you give away your power. When you observe, you put yourself in a position of control. Many people react based on assumptions rather than facts. They assume someone meant to insult them when maybe that wasn't the case. They assume a situation is bad when it might actually be leading them towards something better. But when you practice observation, you take the time to see things clearly before making a judgment. You learn to separate facts from emotions, which leads to better decision-making. A great example of this can be seen in business and negotiations. The best negotiators are not the ones who talk the most, but the ones who listen and observe the most. They let the other person speak, watching their tone, their body language, and the emotions behind their words. By doing so, they gather valuable information that they can use to their advantage. The one who reacts first in a negotiation is often the one who loses, while the one who stays silent and waits for the right moment holds the power. This principle also applies to conflicts. Imagine someone insults you, trying to provoke a reaction. If you respond immediately with anger, you have given them exactly what they wanted. They now control your emotions. But if you stay silent and simply observe their behavior, they start to feel powerless. They don't get the reaction they were expecting, and in many cases they make a fool of themselves. Silence forces them to question themselves. And often, they will back down because they realize they have no control over you. In relationships, observing more and reacting less can prevent unnecessary arguments and misunderstandings. Many fights happen because one person assumes something and reacts emotionally before fully understanding the other person's perspective. But if you train yourself to listen, to watch, and to analyze before responding, you can avoid pointless drama. Observation also allows you to spot red flags early. Many people end up in toxic relationships, bad friendships, or unfair situations because they ignore the warning signs. But when you practice being more aware and less reactive, you start noticing patterns that others overlook. You see the subtle signs of dishonesty, the small manipulations, and the behaviors that indicate someone's true character. Instead of getting emotionally involved too quickly, you take your time, assess the situation, and decide whether someone deserves your energy. One of the greatest benefits of observing more and reacting less is the ability to control your emotions. Most people let external circumstances dictate how they feel. If someone is rude to them, they get angry. If something goes wrong, they get frustrated. If they hear bad news, they immediately panic. But when you train yourself to be an observer first, you develop emotional resilience. You no longer let every small event affect your mood or mindset. This does not mean suppressing emotions, it means mastering them. It means choosing how you respond rather than being controlled by impulses. It means understanding that not everything deserves your energy, and not every situation requires a reaction. When you reach this level of self-control, you become untouchable. Nothing can shake you because you are no longer a prisoner of your emotions. A powerful way to develop this mindset is through mindfulness. When something happens, instead of reacting immediately, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, does this deserve my energy? Do I fully understand the situation? What is the smartest way to handle this? By simply pausing and reflecting before responding, you break the cycle of impulsive reactions. The less you speak, the more you hear. The less you react, the more you see. Make it a habit to spend more time listening in conversations rather than trying to dominate them. Pay attention to people's words, their body language, and the emotions behind their actions. You will be amazed at how much more you understand when you stop focusing on what you want to say next and start truly observing. In social situations, remaining quiet and attentive often makes people respect you more. Those who talk too much and react to everything are often seen as weak or lacking control. But those who speak only when necessary and do not let emotions dictate their behavior command attention. Their words carry more weight because they are not constantly throwing them around. One of the most powerful things you can do in life is to become someone who cannot be easily provoked. When you react emotionally, you are predictable, and predictable people are easy to manipulate. But when you stay calm, observe, and respond only when it truly matters, you become someone who is difficult to control. People start to respect you more because they know you are not easily shaken. Observing more and reacting less is not just a strategy, it is a way of life. It allows you to move through the world with confidence, intelligence, and inner peace. Instead of being a puppet controlled by circumstances, you become the one who controls your own destiny. You see things clearly, make smarter decisions, and avoid unnecessary conflicts. When you master this mindset, everything starts working in your favor. You no longer waste energy on things that do not serve you. You attract better relationships, better opportunities, and a greater sense of self-respect. And most importantly, you develop an unshakable sense of peace, knowing that nothing outside of you has the power to control you. Only you do. Patience is one of the most underrated yet most powerful qualities a person can have. In a world where people want everything instantly, success, recognition, love, and results, those who understand the power of patience stand out. They know that everything meaningful in life takes time, and that rushing things often leads to unnecessary mistakes, stress, and disappointment. Learning to trust the process and allowing things to unfold at their own pace is one of the most important lessons you can master. Many people sabotage their own progress because they lack patience. They plant a seed but expect to see a tree overnight. When they don't get immediate results, they either give up or start making impulsive decisions that only take them further away from their goals. But the truth is, nothing great happens overnight. Just like a tree takes time to grow, everything valuable in life requires patience, consistency, and trust in the process. Trusting the process does not mean sitting back and doing nothing. It means doing your part, putting in the effort, and then allowing things to happen naturally without forcing them. Many people try to rush their success, forcing opportunities that are not meant for them, chasing relationships that are not right, or trying to control things beyond their power. This kind of impatience often leads to frustration and burnout. On the other hand, when you trust the process, you stay focused on your actions, while understanding that the results will come in their own time. A key part of patience is understanding timing. Just because something is not happening right now does not mean it will never happen. Sometimes things take longer because they are being aligned for the right moment. There are times when you may feel like you are ready for something, but in reality you still have lessons to learn, skills to develop, or experiences to go through before you can handle what you are asking for. Instead of seeing delays as setbacks, see them as preparation. The universe, life, or whatever force you believe in often has a way of putting things together in ways you cannot yet see. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with patience is because they are too focused on what they don't have rather than appreciating what they do have. When you are constantly looking ahead, waiting for the next thing, you miss out on the beauty of the present moment. Practicing gratitude helps shift your perspective. Instead of feeling frustrated about what is missing, take time to acknowledge the progress you have made. Every step forward, no matter how small, is still progress. The ability to stay silent and wait is a sign of strength. Many people reveal their weaknesses when they become impatient. They make impulsive decisions, show desperation, or allow emotions to control them. But when you are patient, you remain calm and collected, knowing that what is meant for you will come at the right time. This kind of mindset makes you unshakable. It shows that you have confidence in yourself and in the path you are on. Patience also plays a crucial role in relationships. Many people ruin potential connections because they rush things. They want commitment too quickly, they overthink every interaction, or they force a relationship to move faster than it naturally should. But the strongest relationships are the ones that develop naturally. When you allow things to unfold at their own pace, without pressure or desperation, you create a connection based on trust and authenticity. In friendships, business partnerships, or romantic relationships, patience allows you to see people for who they truly are. Instead of making quick judgments or jumping into situations blindly, you take the time to observe and understand. This helps you avoid unnecessary heartbreaks, betrayals, or disappointments, because you are not rushing into things without thinking them through. Success in any field requires patience. Whether you are building a business, developing a skill, or working toward a goal, you must be willing to endure the slow process of growth. Many people give up too soon because they do not see immediate results. But if you look at anyone who has achieved something great, you will notice a common pattern. They were patient. They did not let temporary failures discourage them. They kept going, trusting that their efforts would eventually pay off. The problem with modern society is that it promotes instant gratification. Social media makes it seem like people achieve success overnight. You see highlights of other people's lives, their achievements and their milestones, and you start to feel like you are behind. But what you don't see is the years of hard work, struggles, and failures they went through to get there. When you compare yourself to others, you create unnecessary pressure, leading to impatience and self-doubt. Instead of focusing on what others are doing, focus on your own journey. A practical way to build patience is to develop a long-term mindset. Stop expecting immediate rewards and start thinking in terms of years rather than days or weeks. Ask yourself, where do I want to be 5 years from now? Once you shift your perspective, you will realize that small setbacks or slow progress do not matter in the bigger picture. What matters is consistency and trust in the process. Another important part of patience is learning to detach from outcomes. Many people struggle because they are too attached to specific results. They want things to happen in a particular way, and when they don't, they become frustrated. But life does not always follow your expectations. Sometimes things will not happen as you planned, but that does not mean they are not happening for you. In many cases, something even better is waiting. But you have to be open to it. Detachment does not mean not caring. It means being at peace with whatever happens. It means knowing that you will be fine whether things go your way or not. When you adopt this mindset, you stop stressing over every little detail. You trust that things are working out, even if you cannot see how at the moment. Mindfulness and meditation can help you develop patience. When you practice being present, you train yourself to appreciate the now, rather than constantly looking for the next thing. Take time to slow down, breathe, and remind yourself that there is no need to rush. Everything is happening as it should. In moments of doubt, remind yourself of this truth. What is meant for me will not pass me by. When you trust this, you free yourself from worry and desperation. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop forcing and start allowing. And when you reach this state, everything starts to come to you naturally. The power of patience is life-changing. It allows you to move through the world with confidence and peace, knowing that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. It keeps you from making impulsive mistakes, ruining opportunities, or wasting energy on things that do not matter. Trust the process. Be patient with yourself, your journey, and the timing of your life. Everything you need is already making its way to you. You just have to allow it to arrive at the right time,